Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Rami Ansur, and I'm at the Seekers Guidance Office in Fremont, California. I'm trying a new method of responding to the forums. It's something that I'm trying to make the forum a little bit more interactive, so I'm going to record it. I'm also testing out a new webcam that we might be issuing across the board to all of our instructors at Seekers Guidance, which is an HD webcam on a tripod. So you'll notice that normally during the live sessions or any of the other sessions that you might have seen, there was a type of looking down look, which is when you're using the webcam. But I'm trying to enhance the experience that the users have, and so we're testing out using a tripod and an HD camera so that the quality is better and that you don't get that looking down. It's pretty straightforward. So the question is from Sister Naima, and she says the distinction between the two, or regarding nasiha and amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. This was something that I discussed in one of the lectures, which was the distinction between forbidding evil, amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, and nasiha. And she says the distinction between the two is fuzzy in my head. Is there a book or paper that we can read to find more about this, more about the topics? And very good question, and I'm glad you asked it. And whenever you have anything that's fuzzy in your head, it's not crystal clear, it's not sharp, make sure to ask. Like I mentioned in one of the forums, and I believe in the live sessions, one of my shuyukh, Sheikh Sa'ad Bou, whenever he would see me with that look that something's still fuzzy, he would say, "La tamshi an shay hatta tafhamu." Don't move, don't walk away from something until you understand it. And so it's not to, don't ever think that you're bothering the teacher by keeping, answering the question. If it gets ridiculously repeated, that's in a separate subject. But if it's reasonable, then the teacher has the responsibility to clarify it. So I had discussed, in answer to your question about the books, there is a book called An-Nasiha by Sidi Ahmed Zarruq. It has not been translated into English. And again, that's Sidi Ahmed Zarruq, the famous Maliki and Shadili scholar from Morocco, where he talks about the idea of nasiha. But basically where this is mentioned, at least in some of the Maliki fiqh texts, is in the section of marriage. And so it discusses the difference between nasiha and amr bil ma'ruf. The basic difference is that if there is a matter that the person is doing and it's haram, either they know that it's haram and they're doing it, or there is absolutely no difference of opinion and they're doing it. In that case, you do amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. That's what it's called. And I'll tell you the difference between the two. If there's a valid difference of opinion, somebody's doing something and they're saying, I'm following this other opinion, I'm following this dispensation, and so on and so forth, and it's a reasonable opinion, it's valid, then to guide them or to advise them against not doing that, it's called nasiha. The only difference between the two is that in hisbah, or amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, that's a different name for it, hisbah, you can actually get angry, and it doesn't matter whether or not the person gets angered. If you tell them, hey, that's haram, don't drink alcohol, don't gamble, don't do ghiba, even if they get angry, doesn't matter. You can still do it, and it might actually be an obligation for you to do. But if it's nasiha, meaning there's a valid difference of opinion about it, and this person they're engaging in it, but they're following this other opinion, and if you were to approach them, they might get angered, then at that point you stop. You don't do any nasiha to them. So that's the difference. Hisbah, which is amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, you can do it whether or not they get angry. Nasiha, you have to stop if they get angry. And the difference between the two is that one, there's a valid difference of opinion about, the other, there's not a valid difference of opinion about. So then, in the lecture, I mentioned that amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar has three conditions. The first of which is that we know the action is haram. My question is, what about the amr bil ma'ruf part? Would it not refer to allowing the good to flourish and promoting it? The enjoining righteousness or forbidding evil, both parts of hisbah, ha, sin, ba, ta, marbuta, or hisba, enjoining righteousness or forbidding evil, they're the same in that it's hisbah, and they have those three conditions, that you know for a fact this is an obligation or a prohibition, that you believe that it will benefit, and that you know that it will not lead to a greater harm. So to answer that question, the enjoining good and forbidding evil have those same three conditions. In terms of nasiha, What about a person who is zealous in giving nasiha but lacks the wisdom in the best way to do it and causes unpleasantness in gatherings and make people dislike her? And if gently corrected, she insists that we have a duty to carry out nasiha to everybody. If this is the case, then this person needs education to understand the difference between hisbah and nasiha. You use the word zealous, I believe in there, yes, zealous. And one of the things that happens when a person gets zealous about the faith, when they get tahammus, when they get really encouraged and motivated, they think that Islam is one opinion on every matter. So it would be good to encourage them to learn about the differences of the Sahaba, differences that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam witnessed and accepted. And the main story for that is the story of Bani Qurayza. If you need me to reference it, maybe one of the other students can reference it for those that need a reference. But to educate her that there is a thing called a valid difference of opinion. If something is a valid difference of opinion, then you can't have this zealous intent to change it, and in the process you get other people angry. And even in hisbah, even though technically we have the right to do it in a fashion, even if they get angered, the prophetic way, as we see, is to be very gentle. There are times when the Prophet ﷺ would have been very strict in his approach, and so you have to judge it based on the situation. So, for example, if somebody's a new Muslim, or they've been Muslim a couple years, or they're weak in their faith, they're born Muslim but they're weak, you might use a gentle approach to hisbah. But if somebody's been Muslim 10, 15 years, you know they're solid, and this is a very serious situation, well, you might have to use some force and some anger to get the message across. And then the last thing, is there a book or paper we can read to find out how the Rasul ﷺ carried out nasiha? There's a book called the Rasul al-Muallim, the Rasul teacher, the teacher, the Prophet as a teacher. It's available as a translation. It's also available in English. Maybe one of the students can post it. I'll try to find a PDF and post it onto this. So, Jazakumullahu khair for listening. It's a little bit longer than I had expected, 7 minutes. We'll see if this turns out the way I hoped it to. And if anybody has troubles downloading this video, well, I guess you wouldn't be seeing it. But if you can't see, I'll mention on the forum if you can't see the video. Jazakumullahu khaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.